Xperia 1 Mark VI, high-end phone from Sony brand. You're watching final review? I usually make first impressions, and next goes very in-depth comparison videos against other high-end devices of other brands. And after that, I make final impressions video that you are watching right now. What I liked, overall feelings. To tell the truth, it is hard to tell what this phone is best at. Not even best, but at least good. I'm a big Sony fan and used to have lots of their products in the past. My first real new era smartphone was from Sony, but I was kinda disappointed after using Mark VI for some time. There is nothing special that comes first to mind. It is easier to tell what is desired to be better, or point out the deal breakers. It feels like it lacks in most areas compared to most of the phones, but I like the design. Phone is slim and very lightweight. Nothing sticks out, nothing hurts hand. But despite losing iconic Sony's 21:9 aspect ratio, it is still manageable and very usable. And screen itself is very bright, one of the brightest that I have seen, and very colorful as well. Battery life is pretty nice, not mind-blowing, but I like that it gave me full day of use and no need to charge it midday, despite setting hard limit to 80%, so phone can never overcharge above it. And I also like this feature. Hard limit can prolong battery health long term, after 3-5 years of use. Speakers are good and loud, 3 out of 5 stars, on the same level as other high-end ones. I can use phone without headphones, and I can use even wired good quality studio headphones, because this phone has 3.5mm audio jack with good amplifiers. But headphones are not the most important part here. I can plug in good audio system with speakers into the phone, good wired microphones or radio system. So nice. It has storage expansion, which is really great. It should be default basic option on all devices, but for some greedy reason, we are very limited in this regard on other phones. You can open expansion slot just with your finger, without extra additional tools. Hope we will see this trend going forward. I like that I have improvements in computation. It is a really big step forward for Sony in terms of algorithms. I can see nice contrast levels, color separation, and colors overall looks very nice. One of my favorite out there. I can control white balance and focus very easy in almost all modes. In most situations, problems of colors on any camera is just a white balance, and I like that I can fix it. Relatively good support for third-party apps. Camera API is partially opened. That allows you to shoot 10-bit log files with stabilization and other goodies. It is huge improvement over basic built-in auto video mode. Slow motion options. I like that there is 4K 120 FPS on all camera models, from ultra-wide to telephoto. Slow motion is so fun and important. I wish every device and camera have these options. But, of course, there are some things that I dislike. And here they are. No second Thunderbolt port, and no easily replaceable battery. Why? I'm tired of this modern behavior. There was not only a charger brick in the box, but no freaking cable. Sony, really? And not only that, but charging speeds are really bad. For some reason it has bad compatibility with gun technology, and I had to wait 3 hours with all my charging bricks that I had at home. You have to buy it separately and become environmentally unfriendly because you need more materials for package, human hours, gasoline to transport it for you. Very unpremium, environmentally harmful and annoying. With Apple's 67-watt charger, I was able to charge device for 1.5 hours, which is still very long. Do not make me to wait and waste my precious life hours on tedious unnecessary things. Old Wi-Fi 6E. I felt performance downgrade compared to other Chinese phones. 12 gigs of RAM and very small ultra-low-end 256 gigs of storage for that high MSRP price. I think I do not need to explain why I dislike it. Screen is colorful and bright, but it has very huge downside and deal breaker for me. All that flicker and pulsation. It hurts my eye, and after long use, I feel dryness and eye strains. Long term, it can lead to headaches and vision degradation. Operating system is very confusing and questionable. It lost all the charm from old Xperia phones. It lacks not only basic features, like app cloning and easy sharing of installed apps, but some core basic apps. There was no calculator, no voice recording. Literally nothing except Google apps and Google's uninstallable bloatware, instead of polished Xperia-style dedicated apps. And for some reason, my unit had Call of Duty Modern Warfare pre-installed on my phone. Why is it more important than calculator or voice recordings? Only Sony knows. No true AI assistant that is local on my device. I dislike that I do not have an ability to use text voice assistant to help me with my routine daily tasks. Xperia 1 Mark VI is a slim device, but not small either, and I am not a big fan of this basic one-hand mode. It is just not so comfortable, very awkward. New computation is cool and dandy, but it needs actual raw powers to support it. And I dislike the fact that it has very outdated poor camera hardware. It does not have main 1-inch sensor. You cannot fool nature, and larger sensor size with crystal clear glass will give me better image, better gradients and noise levels. You can crop in on image more without losing quality. I have to reject anything smaller than 1 inch on high-end devices. All other lenses have very small sensor size also. But degradation is not only in terms of sensor sizes, but it has poor optical glass construction. Image looks soft, but not pleasantly soft, but like through a door peephole. Very cheap looking. Of course, everything in photography depends on hands of photographer, beautiful model and location, good light. But the same good photographer with good gear can produce better results. Period. No discussions here. It is a fact. It is not even debatable. Phone is a tool, and professional, reliable tools can give you a lot better experience, process and results. There is a reason why construction workers do not use cheap counterpart pilers or hammers with soft metal that will break in the first day of work, or drill that won't be able to drill or screw into a hard wood. There is a limit for such tools, and Xperia phone reaches this limit so fast. It limits you as a user, gives you obstacles and headaches, and brings you not ideal results while doing all that. It is even more noticeable on the telephoto lens. Image quality is so poor that it is better to use crop from small main sensor. This telephoto lens has very busy, very destructive and ugly background blur that looks very cheap and uninspiring. And I disliked optical image stabilization, both on preview screen and on final image. Result is unstable and have jerks, jitters, movements. Unpleasant shooting experience. Ultra-wide lens is very tight. It jumps on the main sensor territory. 16mm can limit my field of view for aerial shots. Landscapes, architecture, real estate, and artistic portraits for fun and creative street photography. Also, I dislike that as a result it has problems with dynamic range. Highlights are overblown, and shadows are dark, and I can see tons of noise inside them. And while trying to remove it, phone brings very mushy and undetailed images. Camera app. It is lacking features. It has very few modes, not only for photography but video as well. No log recording for video. No computational RAW photography for photo. No astrophotography and interesting light and shadow painting. The camera app itself is very annoying. Reminds me of Sony mirrorless camera old menu. And menu and UI interface inside mirrorless cameras are very bad to begin with. Very unintuitive, restrictive, not logical, outdated. Feels like annoyance and obstacle with zero upsides in return. Uncomfortable for the sake of being uncomfortable. It confuses white balance a lot. I dislike it. Sometimes image is green, sometimes it is blue, sometimes it is neutral, and sometimes warm. Not reliable at all. Very poor night mode. One of the worst on the market. So much mushiness and noise, loss of details and loss of dynamic range, overblown highlights, so bad. Video has some potential, but overall looks very poor. It is the worst low-light results among any modern phone that I have seen. Not only high-end, but even among some cheap offerings. There is something weird with audio recording and noise reduction. When you record your voice, you can hear squeaking, sizzle and hissing sounds in the background that repeats your voice as an echo each time you speak. It is beyond annoying and deal-breaker. I have never heard anything like this. Especially taking into consideration that Sony is an audio equipment manufacturer, and sensors, and screens, by the way. Camera API is partially opened. I can record log footage, but it has lots of problems. First of all, something weird is going on with saturation and color balance. I have to tweak so much, and still hard to bring the image to the place I need. Not all modes have 10-bit, and 32-bit float audio is unusable and give hiss and noise instead of audio. What I wish for the future Sony phones. Second Thunderbolt port for connectivity. Why not? Really, why not? Easily replaceable battery. Phone is high-tech device, but not a consumable that you will throw away as a e-waste in couple of years, or a new shiny toy. Better charging speeds. It needs to be doubled, or even tripled. Make it charge for 30 minutes with better battery, materials and technologies. More improvements inside OS. I want big stuff. Bring all apps. Not only basic ones like calculator, voice recording, but all in-depth Sony apps that were presented in the old Xperia phones. And invent new ones with Sony Xperia style, art design and sounds. I want to see basic features like app cloning, app sharing. I want to see always on display options, more screensavers and wallpapers. Xperia device feels shallow and empty. I wish it have true AI assistant that fully understands context. Very important. It should understand context to some extent. Can understand voice and text crystal clear and is fully local on my device. Very important. Fully local on my device. That uses local machine learning models. I want better one-hand mode implementation. Give me a choice. Option 1, Option 2, like on Vivo, Honor and Samsung. Screen is nice, but it hurts eyes with such insanely high levels of OLED flickering pulsations. OLED screens became a plague of our time. And now we will see them everywhere, even inside laptops and monitors. Bring some nice technologies to reduce harmful effects on the health of your customers. Beta speakers. They are nice, but it can be better. I want to see at least Huawei level of performance, with more clear and open mids. Do not make it just loud, but crisp. A lot, and I mean a lot better camera hardware. Right now it is not even close for the price Sony asks. Hardware is low-end, but price is beyond ultra-premium. I want 1-inch sensor on main camera, at least 1.4 on the telephoto, 1.4-inch on ultra-wide. If you want to make device slim with such level of camera hardware and battery, you can make it. But do not charge ultra-premium. Low-end is low-end, mid-range is mid-range, and high-end is high-end. While being sensors manufacturer that provides sensors for all smartphone market, even Apple and others, making better cameras inside expensive devices in the future can improve situation. I want to see better optical stabilization, especially on telephoto, so it can compete and potentially beat other smartphones such as Vivo. Camera app is very feature poor. I wish it was a lot more advanced. I want a Pro mode, where you can manually customize your settings to be combined with Auto mode. Just make an M button for manual and A button for auto. Give me ability to tweak all the settings and parameters like saturation, contrast, sharpness, brightness, both in RAW and Auto JPEG in one single tab. Implement computational RAW photography modes. Almost all modern high-end phones have computational RAW mode. That is not a gimmick, but actually powerful tool that can even beat your own pathetic abomination of a cameras like Sony a6400, ZV-10 and ZV-10 Mark II. Giving me a computational photography RAW mode, which is usable and good, will flip your game. I want to see 10-bit computational log video recording with more advanced exposure controls, like false color. And zebras, waveforms, and ability to load in LUTs to preview your image, or even burn in LUTs. It means that settings and tweaks that you made with LUT files are being applied on the final video, and you do not have to color grade anything on the computer. It is ready out of the box. And fully open your camera API for third-party apps. I want to see full Google Cam support. I want to see MC Pro 24 fps and motion cam support. I want to see better audio recording, clean and crisp voice, and advanced noise reduction that does not affect voice but only distractions. This phone is already have slow motion options, but I wish for more slow motion options. Okay to 40 frames per second, 1080p in 2000 frames per second with better image quality. Just make it in small bursts, with small crop applied. Slow motion is so cool and give you absolutely astonishing angles of view that other video recording options simply just can never give you, even remotely close, like not even a discussion how cool it is. And for some reason, I do not see good slow motion implementation on modern devices, despite it being the scene in the past. And I want to see pre-capture buffer, both on photos and videos. It means that your phone buffers the image, and when you press recording button, previous 2 or 3 seconds were recorded. It is like time machine option. Your own Sony FS700R have ultra slow motion options and pre-capture buffer time machine, not only for normal video, but ultra slow motion. What happened? Why not only your phones lack this feature, but very expensive $5,000 to $10,000 mirrorless and video cameras? I want better subject recognition and tracking for autofocus. Even modern mirrorless cameras like your own A7 and FX lineup can recognize eyes, faces, people, poses, animals, insects, vehicles. And I want this inside the phone, with visible marks on the screen to understand that it works. One more wish. I want to see burst photo mode for RAW photography. Do not make 30 or 100 bad-looking photos. I want 3 to 7 fps, but with full computational and normal RAW shooting, with full image quality. And to make it possible, I want to see variable aperture and leaf shutter like on Hasselblad lenses. Hasselblad lenses have leaf shutter built into them. It can be more reliable than conventional mechanical shutter and solve high-speed shooting problems on smartphones. And finally, my personal wish. I want to install any operating system of my choice to the phone, with all APIs free and open for my hardware that I own. but not the company that made the phone. This is my device, not yours. I bought it, not rented it. This is unlikely in this era, but it will 100% be implemented in the future, and is already implemented in other worlds, outside of Prison Earth. I just wish it came true early. So, that's pretty much it. I still do not know how to feel about Xperia 1 Mark VI from Sony. Some aspects I liked a lot, some I disliked, but other I absolutely hated. Their vision of a phone is to give you a slim, stylish device that preserves some old-school features, that focuses on manual controls, but unfortunately is very unintuitive and uncomfortable to use, with results below mediocre in terms of pure hardware image quality. And if they implement everything I stated above in the future, it will be a completely different story. I want to remind you that you are watching final review of the Sony Xperia 1 Mark VI. If you want to know more about this device, you can watch initial review. It is called Old Samurai, Sony Xperia vs Sony ZV-10, and large phone comparison battle with in-depth audio speakers quality examples, photo examples against high-end phones, and $1,300 conventional Sony camera with bright general zoom lens, and of course video quality battle with DJI Osmo Pocket 3 examples. Those video is called Infinity Phones, Sony vs Xiaomi vs Oppo vs Samsung vs Vivo. And if you are interested in full in-depth Android OS and camera app guide and tour, you can watch this video that is called Sony OS Guide, OS and Camera App. Hope you enjoyed. See you in another videos. Have a very out of this world day.